All right, welcome to Websites That Convert. My name is Michelle Malone, and I am the owner of Collective Marketing. I am so excited to have you here, and I just hope that you learn a lot. We're going to get jumped in right away. So, our agenda today is really working on the 7 steps just to make your website convert more clients. People are coming to your website. I want them to convert either by purchasing something or booking your service, whatever your business structure is like. And thinking of that, why don't you pop into the chat? I'd love to know what your business is. Are you selling products? Are you selling services? So pop that into the chat right now so that we can get to know you and your business, and everyone else can get to know you as well. Services, awesome. And Sabria, yes, I know you're doing that. Wonderful. So we're going to talk about 7 steps. Now, this is not, you know, conclusive of everything you need to do, but these are the top 7 for me. Clarifying your header, determining your call to action, shifting the focus, making it fast, making it easy, utilizing keywords, and promoting a lead generator. So my hope is that you really leave this webinar with the tools you need to update your website so that it starts converting more visitors. If you have questions during, you can definitely pop them into the chat. But hopefully we'll have a little bit of Q&A time at the end as well. So raise your hand if you're like me. So did you pop it into the chat? Did you build your own website? Maybe you didn't have money to hire a web designer. You maybe didn't know how to build on a website platform, but you're like, I can figure that out. It might not be that hard. Okay, Tina, you said no. Did you hire someone to build yours? Do you not have one yet? Let me know in the chat. Well, I'm just like you. And you might be like, wait, Michelle, we're here to like learn from you. You don't know what you're doing. Okay, I know what I'm doing, but I didn't at one point. So a little bit about me, I went to graphic design school, and in school they taught me how to code websites with HTML and CSS, and it was just a nightmare. I worked for a small business then for 4 years as a sales and marketing director. And we were launching a brand new website. It was a very complex website. So it was built on WordPress through a website agency in Winona. And that was a really great process for me to be a part of, to learn the nitty-gritty of a WordPress website. Then I go on and I built my own website for my dance company on GoDaddy originally. And then I transferred to Wix in 2021, where then I launched Collective Marketing in July of 2022, and I built on Wix. Now I have built and refreshed over 15 websites on Squarespace, Wix, and Shopify. Why do I tell this to you? Because we were all beginners at one point. So whether you built your own website or not, when we know better, we do better. I think that's just in general, in any area of our life. I think of you, Sabria, like many people don't know about what kind of products they should be putting on their body. When they know better, they hopefully will do better. And that is what this is about today. So I'm going to tell you a lot of tips and tricks and things that you should integrate into your website. And don't feel bad that you're like, oh, shoot, I don't do that right now. It's fine. We're all beginners at one point. So let's dive in. Number 1, we want to clarify our header. So if a visitor cannot figure out what you sell and offer in 3 seconds of coming to your website, they are most likely going to leave and find something that is more clear and easy to understand. I know that sometimes as business owners, we want to be creative and artsy, but at the end of the day, when it comes to our website, we really want to be clear, direct, and easy to understand. In general, marketing, we want to be like that. Storytelling is really key, and we'll get into that. But the very first thing we want is something clear, poppy, and really pulls them in. Okay. So looking at Sarah Feck's website that I did for her, I really liked this phrasing of empowering leaders and transforming teams. That really gives me a vision of the end effect. What is their life going to be like? They're going to have empowered leaders and their team is going to be transformed. So I love the fact that we pulled that result of working with Sarah. I wanted to go a little further and clarify exactly who she works with. So I did add a little extra phrase at the bottom. So depending on your business, you might need to add a little bit extra layer than just empowering leaders and transforming teams. Like that could be anybody. Like that could be, and really she does work with anyone, but really she's a certified speaker, trainer, and coach for first-time managers through executives. She's working with CEOs, she's working with, really big organizations. So we wanted to make sure that that was clear. Not saying that people like, I'm a leader, I could go and get training from her, but I have a feeling I probably can't afford it. She is selling to executives, right? So I'm not saying that I couldn't, but, we wanted to be really clear. So be clear, easy to understand, pull in some of those emotion words of the results they're going to feel after working with you, buying your product or service. And then make sure that you have a photo that is awesome, just a really good photo that relates to your business, obviously. Ideally, it is not a stock photo, especially if you're a coach or you're providing services. It's really important to show your face. But also like it shows maybe some emotion or evokes an emotion. So like Sabria, it could be someone like smiling with your product or something like that, where someone can put themselves into that picture, if that makes sense. And it's already inviting them into the story of, oh my gosh, like I want that product because I want to feel how that person is feeling in that photo. So just know that photos are very big in our experience as we go to a website, and switch them up from time to time. If you're like, okay, this photo has been my header image for like 3 years, let's switch it up. Let's see. Maybe a different photo is going to capture visitors more than a different photo, or switch up maybe your header wording from time to time, do some testing. That's what marketing is about. We're testing things, we're trying. It's a lot of trial and error, can be frustrating sometimes, but just know that you're probably most likely not doing it wrong. You just have to keep trying. Okay. Second step, determining your call to action in marketing. We just phrase it as CTA because we don't have time to say all those words. Okay, so how does someone work with you or buy your product or service? This sounds really simple, but often, this is specifically on our home page. We want to be direct in our call to action. Instead of learn more buttons, we want to be clear about the next step someone needs to take in the buyer's journey with your business. So whether that's book your free consultation. If you do a consultation, I think it's very important that you let people know that it's free, because I won't sign up for like a consultation, like you're like, oh, is it free? Is it not? That in and of itself stops people from clicking or like signing up, because they're in this like unknown. We don't want people to be in an unknown space in our business. We want them to know exactly what they need to do. It's pretty easy for product-based businesses. Purchase now, obviously, or add to cart, right? Those are, basic. That's going to be normal. And then book your service here. That would be another one as well. As you can see, I put, these are kind of the top 3 colors. And I know that's hard because like I do like keeping with my branding colors. But these are kind of like top colors for buttons that attract people to actually click them. I would say red is a good one, obviously, for like a sale. But blue and orange are also good, nice colors to attract somebody to you, or black. Black works very well if you have like a white website background. So I want you to think about it and pop into the chat. What is your call to action? What is your straightforward call to action? Is it a free consultation? Shop now. Awesome. I like that. Yes, Abria, just go and change the photo. I mean, it takes 2 seconds just to change that header photo. That will be super simple. Stephanie, join the circle. Love it. Schedule now. Good. So for collective marketing, my call to action is a discovery call. I want to get on a discovery call with someone because who knows where they're at with marketing, and 100% of the time I'm creating some sort of a, special package for them, or really figuring out like, okay, well, where are you at with things? Like, are you wanting to manage this on your own? Are you just wanting support? Are you wanting accountability? Excuse me, like what are, the things? So if you have that type of business, free discovery calls are really great. And then for my dance studio, I also own a dance studio for ages 18 and older. Obviously, mine is take a class, right? That's my main call to action. So on your homepage, my suggestion is that button is like prominent, like 4 times or something as we're scrolling down. So here we go. We're going to keep going. Step 3. Shift the focus. Now, I talked about this a little earlier. Your website really should not be focused on your story. It should be focused on inviting your potential customers into a story about them, as well as your imagery, inviting them into that story. So for my dance studio, as you can see, these are some of my dance students that come. They're all the college kids. And so with this photo, what I'm telling is come to dance and find friendship, find wonderful people to be around that are supportive and, things like that. That's the story that photo is telling. Now I have a couple different ones to explain kind of like what my values are. But I'm not saying, I'm not talking about myself. I'm not talking about Michelle or what my, vision was, but more, hey, come to the studio and find a safe place, find friendship with other adults, et cetera, et cetera. So oftentimes we're kind of talking about, oh yeah, I wanted to start this business because I have a passion for holistic health and wellness. If that makes sense, we want to shift it from I into you. You are going to feel like this. This is how our product's going to make you feel. This is how our service is going to transform your life, etc. So 2 questions to really ponder with shifting the focus on your website. How are your potential clients' life going to be better after your product or service? And how is your potential client going to feel after your product or service? So those 2 things are really, really key in honing in your story on your website and really shifting the focus from you to them. Number 4, make it fast. We live in a very fast-paced world, and if your website isn't loading within 2 seconds, they are going to leave and find a website that is faster, which is crazy, but that is how short of attention span we have. So, a couple things you can do. You can check your website speed at pagespeed.web.dev, and this is what it kind of looks like when it comes up. So you're going to see a little mobile side and then desktop. So obviously we want to be making sure that our website is working really well on mobile, because that is where 99% of the population goes to look at your website. Desktop obviously is also important. I use my desktop a lot, or laptop, whatever. So this is going to tell you, and this is like real mine. I did this yesterday so that you could see I'm not perfect either. So this is your diagnostic or diagnosis, whatever you want to call it. So it's going to tell you, like how long it's taking first contentful paint. I don't know why they use these words. Why don't they use normal words? I don't know. But it took 3 seconds. So I need to figure that out. That was 1 second too long for my content to come in. My largest one took 7 seconds. So I was like, oh, what's that largest piece of content what's taking 7 seconds to load? So these are things that I need to go in. And if you like scroll down on this diagnosis, it's going to tell you a lot of things. Oftentimes it says JavaScript. And that often is third-party apps that are connected, or if you're trying to like pull in something, using different widgets sometimes can slow it down. So just kind of like thinking about those things, like, do you need all the extra third-party apps connected? Those things would be like, your social media feed on your website, different things like that. We want people to stay on our website, and that's something I suggest to people. I know sometimes a lot of people do like having their social media feed on their website, but it could be slowing down your website, but it might not be too bad either. And then another big thing is compressing your photos. So we don't want to be putting our professional photography that we get from our photographers, or even just from your phone. Those are pretty big photo files. We want to compress them under 200 kilobytes. And there's a few websites that you can go on to compress photos. Obviously, I'm using Photoshop. Ask your photographer to send you web optimized photos, because they'll know what that means and they should be willing to send those to you. If not, I could always help you out with it too. So we want to make it fast. Making it fast is going to be really important. Next is making it easy. So this is like, how easy is it for someone to sign up to purchase your product, sign up for a service, book a consultation call, etc. Obviously, this should be a fast process as well, but it should be as smooth as possible for your client. So what I suggest to people is try not to ask for every information under the sun just to get someone to book. So what I suggest is like, okay, you can get someone to book, like maybe it's a call or a service with just their first and last name, email, right? Even if you're like have to ask, intake questions. What you do is you get them to book, and then you send them an email where it says, hey, I need you to fill out this intake form before you come. Now, obviously, I think anybody knows with a product-based business, you're going to have to put in your address, email, all the things to get it to your house. But there are, faster ways for that, like, with being able to make sure that you have the setting on your website that says that people can save their card, or, things like save their, address, pay with Apple Pay, Google Pay, all the things, right? Even PayPal. Just like as many things you can do to make it as easy as possible and as fast as possible for clients is going to be very, very key. And I already said it, make certain that your website is mobile friendly first. That's going to be a key thing. Most people are looking on their cell phones. Okay, step 6. We want to use keywords and the SEO tools. I think most of us are using some sort of a website platform to build our websites, and there's always SEO tools on those websites, which is great. So when you're determining what your keywords are, I want you to think, what would someone type into Google when they are looking for what I offer? So what is somebody going to type into Google looking for you? Right? So, it's probably not going to be the nitty-gritty. It's going to be kind of the overall, right? So for me, it's, marketing training in La Crosse, Wisconsin, or website webinars or website tools, right? So those are kind of things that I think about. If you have a brick and mortar, you will want to include the city and state of where you are located in at least, 1 or 2 keywords. So like for my dance studio, adult dance classes in La Crosse, Wisconsin. That is a keyword phrase. Okay, so we want those keyword phrases is really what we're looking for to integrate onto our website. That means we're just adding that language on our website, as well as in these meta descriptions, as you can see where my mouse is hovering. So this is a Wix setup. So if you use Wix, this is kind of what it looks like. But I've done it on Squarespace before. I haven't done as much on Shopify, but at least on Wix and Squarespace, you can go into every single page and edit the SEO. If you don't, usually the website builder will just grab whatever, but I suggest, using your knowledge. I mean, AI is getting really good these days, so it probably is really good what they're pulling. But this is where we want to put it. Creative and effective marketing solutions for nonprofits and small business owners. That's kind of a long keyword phrase, but that is a phrase. So that's where you would want to put those keyword phrases, okay? I think that the adult dance classes in La Crosse, Wisconsin is a nice example of a keyword phrase. But, you do what you can. If you're like connected with Google Analytics, it can show you what people are actually searching, and those keyword phrases you're going to want to include on your website. And you can also do like searches on Google, what top keyword phrases are that people are looking, and see if you fall into one of the categories. Another thing that's going to help with your SEO, which stands for search engine optimization, and that's really the connection with Google and how well your website shows up when people search into Google. And that's like the #1 search engine. So we want to be showing up really well on Google. Always add alt text to your images. Now, this helps with accessibility, which we want to have an accessible site for anybody, but it also helps with search engine optimization. So when you put a photo on there, you're going to want to add alt text, which means you're describing what is in the image. So if you have an image of, well, let's take my dancers, for example. I have my dance students. I would put adult dance students at I&E Dance Studio in La Crosse, Wisconsin. Because then you're just like even adding more SEO, like more keywords into that, into the Google stratosphere, if you want to call it that. So add that image alt text, and then fill in, like I said, the SEO areas on your website builder. All right, #7 is promoting a lead generator. So every website should have a freebie that you promote. And this is every business should really have one. So whether this is a webinar, an online course, a PDF download, those are quick and easy for people just to grab. So I love those. It should provide value and solve a problem that your potential client has in exchange for their email address. And that is going to help build your email marketing. And, hopefully you're using email because that is a huge, you're going to see a huge return on your investment using email marketing. So think about a problem, and this could be from earlier. We talked about creating that storyline, right, through your website. What problem could you solve in a PDF type of download? What could help them maybe move them closer to buying your product or service, right? So in mine, this is 7 steps to optimize your website. I basically kind of broke it down today for you in a webinar format. My goal is if somebody needs their website built or refreshed and they don't want to do it themselves, that they would hire me to do it. So I want you to think about your lead generator in that sense. For Sabria, like you're going to want to think about what is your top product that you sell? Like you should just lean into that top product or product suite. Like what is it? And create some sort of a lead magnet that might promote that. Even if I think education is really important in that space of healthy products and what it does to your body and the benefits of it. So it can be something like that. You could even have some sort of a checklist, an easy checklist. I don't know exactly all of the things in all of your businesses, but everyone loves a good checklist of like 10 things you need. I think there was one example I had, it was like 50 things your kitchen needs to be well stocked, and it was all the things, chicken stock, blah, 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 all the things that you really need in your kitchen pantry. So, and that was like a lead magnet for, I don't know, like a cooking, like concierge service, in-home cook type of situation. So being creative in that way and thinking of what would lead them towards buying something from you. This is what you'll do with your lead generators. You're going to add it to your homepage at the bottom. And what we like to call this lead generator is a transitional call to action. So this is really like someone's not ready to buy now. Someone's not ready to book a service, but they see this free thing and they're like, I'm going to just grab this because I like this person and maybe I'll buy something later. Right. So, and that's good because then you're getting their email address, right? This could also be like a 10% off code your first purchase type of thing as well. I do like having a little bit of a download, which is giving them a little bit more than just a discount code. You could include a discount code in the PDF as well. It could be on like the last page or something like that. So that could be integrated into your lead generator, and you could promote that right here, like download our free blah, blah, blah PDF, which includes a 10% off coupon for our product, this specific product. I'm kind of going product-based in this thought. Okay, moving on. We're going to add it to our homepage. It's going to have its own page on the website and a pop-up. So this is a pop-up on my website. So this like pops up about 5 seconds after someone's basically been on my homepage. And all I'm asking is for their email. You could ask for first name and email. I actually kind of wanted to do that because I do like personalizing emails with their first name and then email address. But the magic really happens is when you have an automated upsell follow-up sequence of about 6 to 8 emails where you're really leading them towards a sale. And I will talk about my program that I have in a little bit to assist small business owners in that process of creating your lead magnet and that automated upsell follow-up sequence. So those are kind of like our 7 things today. You do have a special bonus today for being on the call. So these are 3 pages that you need on your website. So Stephanie's on this call. She invited a lawyer to this sister circle call, and she mentioned these pages that you really need on your website. I think she only said really that you need terms and conditions and privacy policy, but I think it's also very important to have an accessibility statement. So you're going to get 3 sample templates. Now, these are not required to be seen, like a lawyer does not have to concoct these for you. Okay, there's a bunch of templates online, but I found 3 that were really just well written, succinct, and I've been using these for clients. If you have a more complex business, it would not be a bad idea to have a lawyer actually look at these and everything like that. But for the most part, it's pretty standard. It's talking about like, I'm collecting your information. Anytime someone comes to your website, you're collecting their IP address. Whether you know it or not, you're collecting things and information from them, whether they put in their email address or not. Their IP address is collected, which is linked to a location, all the things, right? So you're basically telling them you're not going to sell the information that you get. You're not going to abuse that, you're keeping it safe, etc. And that you will always let them know if things change or policies change. You're not going to sell your list to people or their information. So it is important. And then accessibility, just, please edit the templates that you get, because there are phrases in there such as, we will continue to do accessibility testing. If you're not going to do that, don't say you're doing it. But like having people from the community test out your website to make sure it's accessible. If you don't plan doing that, please take it out. There's a couple other phrases that I've been working with a client of mine on. She's like, well, we're not really planning to do that. And I said, take it out, because you don't want to be saying you're doing something and you're not. But it could give you some ideas of, oh, maybe I should do that, or things like that. So today we learned 7 steps to convert more visitors on your website. And what is your next step? So I really want you to make a plan on updating your website. What does that plan look like? And I don't know if you're like me and you struggle with integration after a webinar or any sort of training, which I really do. I'm like, oh yeah, that was great. And then I don't do anything. I'd love to just sit down one-on-one with you for a session. We can get through so much stuff in 1 hour, because I am like a drill sergeant. I'm not gonna lie. I literally am like, if you get off of talking on a tangent, I'm gonna bring you back and say that was a great conversation, but we're here to get stuff done. So just know, if you work with me, that's kind of how I am. It's not like I don't want to be like chit chatty, but I'm like, hey, you paid me, we're getting this done. So if you like working with someone like that, you will like working with me. I'm not